Hello, and welcome to another video. Today I've got a game for us to play together of Guess the Card. So I've got a stack of cards here, and the way it'll work is I will give you a series of clues about each card, and we'll see if you can guess what it is before I reveal it. We've done this game once on my channel before, and I know I had a lot of fun with it. It was especially awesome to see all of your responses and how many cards you were able to get. So I thought we could give it another try. This time, the theme is banned cards. So each of these are currently banned in at least one format. And I tried to go for a variety of difficulty, but of course your personal experience is going to make this easier or harder depending on how long you've been playing, what formats you play, how much exposure you've had to each of these cards, things like that. But yeah, I think we're good to get started. And like I mentioned, I would absolutely love to know how many cards you were able to guess. Did any of my clues lead you astray? Let me know. Okay. This card was banned fairly recently, so I'm hoping that it'll be an easy one to get us started. It is banned in Standard. This card is red. The Standard deck that this card was part of became too dominant in the field, in large part due to the strength of this card directly. And over 40% of decks at Pro Tour Final Fantasy included this card. This card lists multiple keyword abilities and has an ability word. And finally, this is an artifact. So go ahead and make your guess. And for the reveal, it is Quarry Steelcutter. Alright, on to the next one. This card is banned in Modern and Legacy, and restricted in Vintage. This card was designed as a way to give non-blue decks access to this type of effect, which is enabled by its casting cost. However, things did not go well, and this card was often run to just mirror itself, making for a poor play experience. This card was banned preemptively in Modern at its inception. And despite what I said earlier about non-blue decks being able to include it, this card is blue. Ready? We're talking about Mental Misstep. Mental Misstep. Moving on. This card is banned in Legacy and Commander. It was previously restricted in Vintage, but was unrestricted in 2019. This card was first printed in alpha and is a member of the reserved list. This is a green enchantment. You might consider exploration to be a fixed version of this card. The problem with this card is that it provides far too much mana acceleration for too little of a drawback, and is easily exploitable even further with the help of cards like Crucible of Worlds or Zurin Orb. What do you think? It is Fast Bond. Too many lands for too little of a cost. Next up, this card is banned in Legacy, restricted in Vintage, and a game changer in Commander. Similar to our last card, this is an enchantment that caused a problem by trading life for a resource. It's got a tough mana cost, but nothing that a dark ritual can't solve. And finally, there have been multiple attempts to fix this card, but some of them also had to be banned. So, what is it? It is Necropotence. Necropotence. Next up, this card is just banned in Commander. It is from a cycle of monocolored cards, and none of the others are banned. This card is commonly known by a nickname, and was even referenced by that name in the explanation of its banning on the old Commander Rules Committee website. So that's fun. This card has been printed several times in core sets, supplemental sets, and secret layers, with its most recent printing in Final Fantasy as a Through the Ages card. This is a mythic rare in green. So make your guess. And if you guessed Primeval Titan or Primetime, you would be correct. Okay. This card is banned in Pioneer, Modern, and Legacy. The set that this card is from is no longer legal in Standard, but this card was also banned in Standard less than 2 months after its release. This card became dominant in several formats because of the way that it could interact with artifacts and creatures. We last saw the character featured on this card in Thunder Junction, with some similar but much more toned down abilities. And finally, this is a Planeswalker. So make your guess. It is Oko, Thief of Crowns. Oko is broko, as they say. Right. This card is banned in Legacy and Commander, and restricted in Vintage. This card had also been banned in Standard, but back then it was called Type 2. This card has been with us since Alpha, and can often be found in Vintage cubes. The name of this card is a bit ironic, although the intention of the card is aligned with its name. In practice, it is nothing of the sort. This is a sorcery that costs 1 and a white, but depending on how you lean into it, it could do a reasonable impression of a Wit's End, an Armageddon, or a Wrath. So, what do you think? It is balance. Not very balanced at all. This next card, I think, is pretty well aligned with its name. It is banned in Modern and Legacy, and it is miserable to play against. This card has never been printed in a standard legal set. There is an alternate casting cost on this card, which is part of the reason why it became such a menace. And speaking of menace, it has that too. And this card comes from a cycle of elemental incarnation creatures, some of which also had to be banned. So make your guess. This is grief. And if you were playing Modern or Legacy while this card was around, you probably know full well. Our next card is banned in Modern, Legacy, and Pauper. This card has snow mana in its casting cost. Oko, who we saw before, could often be found alongside this card in Legacy until they were both banned. While this card did provide a clever way to get around effects like Blood Moon, unfortunately it lowered the barrier to excellent mana for many decks a bit too much. And finally, this card's name is alliterative and references a real astronomical instrument. And for the reveal, this is Arkham's Astrolabe. Fun. Alright. Our last card is actually an entire cycle of cards that are banned in Modern. They may seem unassuming, but there was a particular deck that was able to use them to an unfair advantage. You can occasionally find these cards in pre-constructed commander decks. For example, 3 of them were just in the recent Counterintelligence Precon from Edge of Eternities. Each card in this cycle has 2 card types. And finally, the name of the mechanic that made these cards so powerful is also the name of the deck responsible for their banning. And let's reveal that mechanic would be affinity. As I'm sure you can imagine, having untapped lands that could basically count for 2 mana was just way too strong. But there we have it. These are all of the cards that I brought today. And I am so curious to know how many you were able to guess. And we'll see who gets bragging rights for guessing the most. Did any of you get a perfect score? And let me know if there are any themes you would like to see for future videos like this. So far we've done cards with a mana cost of 1, and obviously banned cards today. But if you've got any ideas, let me know. And as always, it would really help me out if you would hit that like button. And please consider subscribing if you haven't already. I put out new Magic the Gathering ASMR videos every Monday and Friday. I truly appreciate all of your support. And I hope you have a wonderful day.